I can't wait until you can all see me. Let's go, it will be great. Let me know when you can see me, when you can hear me. If that AC is too loud, just let me know. I will turn it off. But, it's hot. It's hot. And when it's hot, well, I like to have the AC on. Oh. But here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your Saturday night. Welcome to your Saturday night. I already have the horn. I already have a smile. I have the armor. I have the kilt. You know, I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. Oh, I can't even explain to you how happy I am to come to you today. Because I'm pretty happy. Just gotta check something. KDJ already here. You are appreciated immensely. Savor the flavor and the awesomeness, and you for sharing your delectable goodness with us. Lift up your kilt. No! What? That's not happening. Lift up your kilt. We are not doing any kilt lifting today. Not a bit. Not a bit, not a bit, not a bit, bit, not a bit, not a bit, not a bit, bit, not a bit, not a bit, not a bit, bit, not a bit, bit. Lift up your horn. There's a horn lift. We are celebrating. We are... I can't even... I was going to say something clever, but instead, you know what I'm going to say? We're celebrating. We're celebrating right now. It's Saturday. It's Saturday night. Depending on where you are in the world, maybe it's not Saturday night. Maybe it's Saturday afternoon. Maybe it's Saturday morning. Maybe it's Sunday. I'm not sure. But what I do know is that we are celebrating. Let's celebrate together. And in case you're wondering what we're celebrating, we're celebrating Catalyst. So we'll get to all of the fun, the news, but we're talking about MCK McDuffie Films here tonight on your Saturday night. Alright. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty fresh. Hopefully the AC is not overpowering. Hopefully the sound is wonderful. And in case I haven't told you yet today, all you wonderful people, I appreciate you. It is through you that I am capable of doing all these great things. Making films, writing books, streaming. You know, there's just so much. The photography, the art, the films, the books. What it comes down to is the support and the, presence of all of you. Now, there's already a naughty kitty who's up on a place that she does not belong, but it happens. It happens. Callie Mae. Callie Mae. Callie Mae. Hold on, wonderful viewers. Only gone for a moment. But I had a cat on the counter, and that simply will not do. There's many things that we can allow, but a cat on the counter is not one of them. All right. So, as you know, I am unbelievably proud to have already announced a couple of things. Number one, in the Medusa Film Festival. Hold on, I'm on the wrong side. On the Medusa Film Festival, I won Best Short with Catalyst. And at the Global Film Festival, I also won Best Experimental Short. But other things have happened, and we must discuss them. But we're also going to be talking about the art of making films. The art of making films, because the art of making films, you know, that's just, it's a huge thing. There's so much that goes into all these films that I have made and all the ones that I'm actually going to be making. And that's one of the things I'm here to talk about today. So please feel free to throw questions, to throw comments, to throw all of that great stuff, you know? Oh my goodness. But I can't tell you all, like, just how happy I really am about how everything is gone, how everything is going, and how everything is going to be. What is in my horn tonight? Well, I'm glad you asked. Tonight, we are drinking the delightful and the decidedly very cheap beer. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to drop this right in here. Hello, Silver Fox. Oh, no worries about being late. You go ahead. You have yourself a nosh. If you need to have yourself a nosh right now, nosh, nosh, nosh. Have a little nom, have a little eat. It's all good. We're all friends here, and, you know, we all need to eat. Now I'm thinking, what did I eat today? We're not going to get into that topic. Yes, what was for dinner? We want to know. We want you to share right now. We want to be part of this conversation. Woo! Oh, there's some more. But it's a celebration night. So, hold on. You know, there was a very good point brought up. You know, what am I drinking tonight? We're celebrating, and we're having a good conversation. So we're going to have some wine in the horn as soon as the horn is empty. But we're here to talk about filmmaking, more specifically, indie filmmaking. Oh, I thought you said what was for dinner. You said what was for dessert. Good question. Brownie my daughter made. Who cooked for you tonight? You know, it's just a reminder. Enjoy your brownies, enjoy your happiness, enjoy your food, but now and again, you do need somebody to cook for you. I like to cook. I enjoy cooking, but I never say no to someone else cooking for me. And I'm always very quiet if there's anything to criticize. Unless I have to. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're here. Oh, got to make sure I'm on the right side. Yes. To talk about films and my film company, my indie film company. Jill, I would like my dinner to just appear tonight because I am not cooking. Well, hello to you. I would like my dinner to just appear for me tonight as well. So, if you would like to just make dinner, thank you very much. If you would like to make dinner just appear for me tonight, you can always donate to one of my my coffee or my Patreon. I will link those later on. Yes, there is awesome film news coming up. I definitely need to think about cooking later. I need to make sure that the cats stop playing where they don't belong. Naughty. They're naughty cats. I had to break the illusion momentarily because the cats are naughty. Family dinner. Yes. Oh, all right. So just stick with. We are going to have something special later. But one of the big things that we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be talking about the film making process from an indie standpoint. And also, please feel free to tell me if my air conditioner is too loud. I need to have it on tonight. But I can at least turn it down a little to provide us with better sound. Naughty cats. Alright. But first I'm actually going to talk a little bit about my film making experience. After we get Callie Mae to stay away from the green screen, which might not happen. Now, don't worry, this is just a pointing tool. I can point here. I can point here. Well, hold on. Let me adjust that. I'm not afraid. Oh, it's up here. It's up here. And then here. And then maybe here. Let's see if this works. Yes, that works. We're going to put the sword down. Alright. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm having fun. I hope you are too. We have cats coming in and making a little bit of a mess of our magical back screen. But that's one of the joys of pet ownership. That's one of the joys of having a furry family. And, you know, you just roll with it. That's what you do. You roll with it. You make the best, which is actually a really good segue to talk about indie filmmaking. So we're going to start off with some of the small things. I've actually been making short films, at least with a more intentional purpose, since about 2009. So around 2009, I intentionally made one of my first short films. And when I say intentionally made, I mean not just going ahead and taking a camcorder and then recording a bunch of things and then there you go. What I mean is taking a bunch of disparate footage, a bunch of different scenes filmed at different times, editing them, adding music, adding layers, and then producing an experimental film, a short film. And even then in 2009, I was very ambitious. So I went as far as making my own music, making my own sound effects, doing my own filming, my own film setup, and then my own editing, my own writing, my own put together, and a lot of my own acting. And that's one of the things that we're going to dissect today, because being an indie filmmaker or a creator on that level oftentimes requires a great deal of work from your producer, director, writer, actor. And this is something that a lot of people don't always take into account. So myself, as a solo filmmaker, it takes me roughly 18 to 20 hours to actually parse down and create about 5 minutes of film. I want you to go ahead and think about that for a moment. If you've ever wondered why it takes weeks, months, or even sometimes years to create a big blockbuster, now bear in mind there's lots of people working on this. Lots and lots of people. If you've ever wondered why it takes that long, I'm going to tell you firsthand. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay it out, and we're going to actually discuss it together. If you have any questions, comments, things like that, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to let you know. We're going to make this as much of a dialogue as possible. But I'd like you to stick with me. And I'd like you to carry on along with the show, because there's a lot of things I would like to talk about with you. We need to finish this horn so I can put wine in it. But thank you so much, everyone who's here. So far we have Silver Fox, we have Jill Shanty, we have KDJ. We have a wonderful audience. I can see that there are 5 viewers, so if you are here, please feel free to say hello. I would appreciate it very much. But we're going to carry on. So, we're going to start with something that a lot of people probably don't think about a no-budget film. Because there actually is a cost to a no-budget film. And I'm not going to get into the translation of sweat equity, hours of work, as opposed to, cost. So we're not going to get involved in that right yet. But there actually is a very, very real cost to creating a low-budget or no-budget film. And that first cost is equipment. Now, when it comes to low-budget and no-budget films, things are much different than they used to be. People can actually produce low-budget and no-budget films with a phone. It's doable. It's totally doable. And I want you to understand that in the film community, and even on professional streaming platforms, this is an option. So if you are thinking about getting into film creation, film production, anything like that, the bar of entry right now on a beginner stage is very, very low. Because if you have a modern smartphone, you can go ahead and you can film a movie. Now, is it going to be amazing? Is it going to be super quality? Are you going to have the best effects? No. No. Are you going to have the best lighting? No. Are you going to have the best actors? Probably not. Are you going to have the best scenes and sets? That's debatable. You can do a lot. You can do a lot with very little. In 2009, the very first film that I intentionally shot, edited, and added additional effects, layers, etc. to, was entirely done on a webcam. And we're not talking about webcams we have now, which, you know, a 2K, 4K, you can get 4K webcams. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a good old-fashioned, built-in laptop camera. And then a stick camera that costs like $20 that was purchased at a big box store. It had to be plugged in the entire time to work. So you had to plug it into your computer and then record directly to the computer. And that is how I shot my very first film in 2009. I had a laptop open with a webcam stuck in it, and then I recorded footage directly to the computer. And I recorded a lot of footage. A lot. And then I edited that down. I want you to just think about that. 2009, I was able to make my first film with a webcam and a laptop. And the bar is even lower now. All you need is a smartphone and a decent enough video editing app. You can make your own film. But there is a cost to that. So when you talk about a low budget or no budget film, if you want to be able to do this, the costs are the following. Number one, your filming equipment, which is very important. I can't overstate how much you should practice with whatever you want to use. Doesn't matter if it's a cell phone, a hand cam, a professional HD, a full rig, whatever it is, practice with it. Alright, so that's actually where we're going to start. Remember to practice with your camera, practice with your equipment. You should go ahead and actually put aside X amount of hours to record footage. You don't have to keep it, but you have to practice. You have to understand everything from lighting to position. You have to understand angles. You have to understand the technicalities involved. So practice, please practice, no matter what you use. Learning so much. I use studio cameras and days went into training. So such good. Yes. So, you know, I've done photography now for some years. You know, I've been an artist of varying degrees of quality for some years, writer, and then I worked on, I didn't work per se, but I did stage shows, plays and whatnot, and all of that information can move into a different skill set. But if you have no base, no root, no pre-training, but you want to make a movie, the first thing I suggest is practice with your camera. No matter how good your movie idea, if you are on a low budget to no budget film idea and you want to make an indie film and you want to produce, direct, harness your creative vision, make videos. Make videos. It doesn't matter how good they are, how bad they are. Make videos. That's step one. Now, I've come up a long way from a webcam. I'm going to show you one of my cameras right now. I actually now use this Lumix 4K. This is a photography camera, but it does do 4K video. It's got a touch screen. It's got a lot of additional features. It can make super high quality video. It can make super high quality stills and images. There's no substitute for a good camera. Now my hand cam right now is actually hooked up to the computer. I cannot show you that. Now, here's the thing. That Lumix, that camera there, that is around a $500 camera. And that was on sale. I'm going to be fair. Now this goes back to the low budget, no budget thing. If you have a smartphone, whatever the cost of your smartphone is, that's part of the budget of your film. So when you say, oh, our budget is $2,000 and you have no money, well, if you have a fruit tech company's phone, that's a $1,000 or $2,000 phone. Congratulations, you've just met your budget. So that's actually something to keep in mind. And then there's memory cards. If you need to buy software, even some apps to make professional videos on your phone might be like a $20 app. And I know that seems like pretty cheap, but depending on who you are, that might be a big expense for you. So maybe you have your phone on a payment plan, and maybe you're on a contract, and maybe buying a $20 app seems like a big deal. Well, there are still ways to get around that, and we'll get into those momentarily. But that's getting your foot in the door. We just got our foot in the door. We got our foot into the door of being a filmmaker. There's no more beer in here, so we have this wonderful rosé. It's Bookbinder's Apprentice, which I got from Scout and Cellar Wine from Mandy Park. She's just getting a plug because I'm drinking the wine. I'm not going to throw her link in here, but if you like wine and you want it delivered to your house, go to the website Scout and Cellar. It's about half that bottle. That's good. So there's our starting point, because you have to consider the film aspect. So whether you want to shoot on a 35mm, whether you want to shoot on a digital hand cam, whether you want to shoot on something like the Lumix, whether you want to use your Fruit Tech Company smartphone, whether you want to use one of your other brand name smartphones. These are things you can do if you want to start filmmaking. Foot in the door, wine in the horn, nice. Yes. So this is just where we started now, and it's our initial steps, and it's our first big points to keep in mind. Now, clearly, good videography, that might be a word. Good videography, good film footage is not the only thing you need to make a movie. So now we're going to talk about the writing aspect. Now, writing for film is tricky, because you cannot look at a film as a story. Not the way you would look at writing, and now I'm not saying that everyone can. Maybe you can, and that's fine. And that's good, because that's the way you do it. But you can't look at a script for a movie in the same way you would writing a short story, or writing a book, or a poem, or a novella, or a vlog, or even a script for like a streaming show like this. You can't actually think about screenwriting in the same way. Film is ultimately a visual medium. So when you think about a film, when you think about your favorite movies, when you think about your favorite TV shows, you actually have to think not just about the writing aspect, but the visual aspect. What the viewer is going to see, what your colors are, what your definition will be, what your frame rate will be. But you can actually simplify it all the way back. And I'm going to tell you something about how I start with a film. And what I actually do is I start to make kind of a tone palette. And I'm going to explain to you what that is in the way I do a film. Now, a tone palette isn't tones just as in colors or tone like the language of emotions. The tone palette I use is actually a whole bunch of singular words. Think about a visual. Alright. So if you want to go ahead and you want to work along with it, say we're working on a film project right now, if it was my film project. Now, anyone can do this in any way they want, but this is the way that I do it. So when I do my writing for a film, when I do my writing for a project, what I start with is words and images, and I translate those images into single words. So maybe I want the film to be pastel. Alright, so now we have a visual element, pastel. And maybe I want it to be mechanized. So we have a motion element. Alright, so we've got two things right now in my tone palette. A pastel mechanized film. Pastel mechanized. These are our first two tones for the film. And film and TV shows, they have a tone of voice, they have a tone of image, they have a tone of color, all these different things. And, obviously then there's the deeper things that you can get into. But when I start a film, I think about my tone palette. So we're starting with, in this hypothetical film, pastel and mechanized. So now we have color and we have kind of a motion style. Alright, and then maybe I want it to be romance. Okay, so we have a pastel mechanized romance. Look at that. So far, right now, we have a descriptor. So, with these three singular words, our tone palette, we know that the new film from... Save me. So the new film from MCK McDuffie Films would be a pastel mechanized romance. And you can almost see that as a tagline. I mean, it's missing some portions, but if you were to pitch that to someone, oh, our new film is going to be a pastel mechanized romance. Well, do I have to tell you what it's about, or is your mind already creating an image? Come on, tell me. Tell me, I want to hear, I want to know. This is part of the conversation. But, so there, we already have something. Alright, so our tone palette for our new film is pastel mechanized romance. So now we have to think about characters, we have to think about all those other things. But if I stopped my tone palette right there with three words, we could go ahead and create an entire visual story. And then the writing can follow. Or you can take those three words and you can do the dialogue, but it's all gonna fit into those constraints. You can write your scenes, you can write your dialogue. They have to fit those constraints. Then when you film the movie, it has to fit those constraints. But you already have something unique. You already have something that's a specific concept, and that is your tone palette. Now, you can add as many or as few words to your tone palette if you follow my method of filmmaking. You can add as many words or as few as you wish. For your tone palette, I would recommend having at least 3, because you will need at least 3 things to create the tone of your film. So there we go. So now we've broached into the writing concept, the actual conceptualization. And it's kind of giving us a direction. Okay, so we want to be a filmmaker. What do we need? We need something to film with. We got to practice with whatever we're going to use to film. It couldn't be simpler. All right. We need something to film with. We need to practice filming. We need to practice angles. We need to practice scenes. We don't have to worry about all the technicality yet. We just have to practice making videos. All right, so now we're going to conceptualize our film. And what's that next conceptualized portion, which is going to be our tone palette. All right? So if you approach a film just with these 2 things, you can make a lot. Okay, so now you have a tone palette. You know the things that you want to include. So our pastel mechanized romance, we're going to practice filming things which are pastel, mechanized, and try to get an idea what romance looks like on a screen. What does romance look like in your mind? And you can see where this is already leading us in a direction. Oh, and I also hope you're all enjoying this. I hope that you walk away from this with a better understanding of indie film, and at least how I make films. Now, if you are not already subscribed to my film YouTube, as you can see, Mackenzie's Tavern. Oh, Mackenzie, welcome to my tavern. That was awful. Was I just mocking myself? I was just mocking myself. Either way, so Mackenzie's Tavern has just dropped a link in the chat for where my film's YouTube is, and please go subscribe. The more subscribers, the better, so share it. Help. Your support is appreciated. I can't believe I just mocked myself on camera. We're going to move on. Alright. So now we have... Oh, we have emotes! I always love the emotes. I always love them. Alright. So now we have a direction. So say this is your first film and this is what you're doing, our pastel mechanized romance. You've already been practicing filming, and now you have your tone, your base tone. And like I said, you can add or subtract, but try to have at least 3 words to build your tone. And I'm not saying they have to follow any particular structure. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So you're going to want to go back now, and you're going to want to go ahead and practice filming those elements. Okay? So one thing that occurs, at least in larger films, is you're going to have someone who does like scene storyboards. You're going to have someone who does scenic shots and location shots and whatnot that aren't necessarily going to be in the movie ever. But what those are is that's taking their concepts for the movie and that's putting them into a format that you can look at and you can visualize as you create. So you're going to want to do that too. All right? And this is just, again, my process for making films. So remember, there's other ways to do it. I just want to give you that little opening. Okay? So we go ahead and we're going to go out and we're going to film things that are pastel and mechanized and romantic, and we're going to try to, even if you want to sketch some things out, go for it, please do. You know, try to storyboard your film. Sketch it out. And from here, after you do that, and this is actually the really important part, because we're going to go from our practice filming to our tone to actually getting our key shots, our scene scouting, our conceptualization for the visualization of the film. So that's our first 3 steps. Now, there we are. Look at that. We're already 3 steps into a new film. Here's where you're going to consider about story. Okay? At least, here's where I consider about story. So now that we have all of this, we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to put hand to typewriter or keyboard or paper. And we're going to build an outline. Now, some screenwriters go ahead and they write the whole screenplay right away. Some screenwriters will go ahead and they'll write a draft or a pitch. And then there's other ways to do it. Now, usually, if you're going to approach a big-name studio, you're going to have a fully worked-out screenplay with everything laid out. And that's going to go through a bunch of revisions, but we're not those people right yet. And that's fine. But if you want to go ahead and make an entire screenplay, you go ahead. Build your entire story. Write all the dialogue down. Figure out all the scenes. But you're going to want to go ahead and at least give yourself a draft or an outline. So, practice filming, create the tone, test footage, write your script. Sticking with me so far? I hope so. I'm having a good time. So now that we have our screenplay, which is also going to fit within the confines, the constraints of our tone and our key test footage and our screenplay. So now we've gotten to this 4th step where we have our screenplay that fits within our test footage, our known skills that we have that we've been practicing, our tonal palette, all this information is going to come together. You're going to put your screenplay together. At this point in time, you may have to admit something to yourself. You're on a low budget to no budget film. Which means there's a possibility that you're going to be doing absolutely everything. That's what I do. I do the filming, the setup, the editing, the writing, the acting, the lighting, everything. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Now, if you can't get actors or you can't get someone to do filming for you, well, grab this thing. I meant to have this out before. Have a tripod. Okay. You have a tripod. You don't need someone filming, do you? You just need to go ahead and edit that film post. Maybe you'll have to move this around. Maybe you're going to have to put this in a dozen locations. Maybe you're going to have to film the exact same thing a dozen times from a bunch of different angles and redo it. Can't see your eyes. Oh, hold on. Is this better? Alright. Hopefully this is better. But, so, you're going to need a tripod if you don't have anyone to film or you can't pay someone to film. You're going to need a tripod, and you're going to need to understand that you're going to have Either you're going to have to go out and buy a, can you tilt the camera up? I can try? Hopefully that helps. All right. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You're welcome. As far as I can see in my screen, everything was like in frame. But if it's not on your end, please let me know. And this is one of those fun things. See, I'm filming myself, and this is where tripods and camera stands and being your own videographer come into play. So, let's just go ahead and move on here. So you have your tripods. All right, excellent. All right, so you have your tripods. You have your scenes. You've worked out like what your crew's going to be. If you don't have actors, that's okay. You can make it a one-person show. There are tons of them. If you go online right now and you look for movies with a single person in the feature as an actor, you will find them. But at the same time, you can go ahead and you can get abstract and artistic and experimental and expressionist. You can remove people from the movie entirely, and you could have it focused. If you wanted your pastel mechanized romance to focus on a cat that falls in love with a robot. All right, now we're in something. Build stick people, I like it. We can do that. You can do that. And then you just overlay voice if you want it. But say you had like one of those little remote control robots. You paint it pastel. It's now pastel and mechanized. And you have a cat or a dog or a rat or something, you know, an animal. And then you decide you're going to put those two things together and you're going to film a whole bunch of scenes together. And then you're going to cut it up later. You could make that your film. Or say, all right, my pastel romance is definitely stick people that love each other. I like it. See, that's the thing. You're already taking the idea and you're going with it. I have a naughty kitty. She's naughty. Yeah, you know what? Actors are difficult actors. Actors are difficult actors. I'm my own actor, and I'm sometimes a difficult actor. See naughty kitties. Well, if you see them scamper through here at some point, you know, let me know. I'm not going to pick them up because they do not like to be hugged when I'm wearing all this makeup. Alright, so there's the thing. We transitioned from our filming to our tone to our, you call it our key shots, to our screenplay, to determining our crew and working out bugs. Our crew might be just us, just ourselves individually, or our crew might be friends, family, students if you're in a school, you know, and you're doing some sort of big project and you want to do that. Maybe you have within your low budget enough money to give someone $20. Hey, I just need you to film a bunch of stuff where I'm doing things today, but I can't track the camera around. You know, and these are possibilities, you know. It's difficult for a starting filmmaker to try to put a budget into anything. So my very first film in 2009 did have a second actor, Will Young, and Will did everything for free. You get that sometimes. And I've never had that again. Up until recently, there is someone who's going to try to collaborate with me, and that's going to be a future project that's going to come out. I'm really excited about it, but so, and you can scale this whole concept up, all right? So we have gone from practice filming, get your tone, get your key shots, get your screenplay, figure out your crew, your actors, or how you're going to do this thing. And this is actually going to go ahead and transition into the next big part. Now, this is something that you should do well ahead of time. Well ahead of time. And that's go ahead and figure out how you want to do music. Alright. And we haven't even started filming the movie yet. We have not done that. We've only covered the concept of all these things beforehand. Thank you so much for the Doritos. I want Doritos now. Wow, Alright, so now you're going to want to consider the way you're going to do music. Now, music has some constraints in the film world. You are most likely not going to be able to use any big name music. Though there are websites and there are people that you can contact to get rights to use music in a commercial production. This takes time, it takes money, and it takes resources. We are an indie filmmaker. Thank you so much. I can't wait to start making it. Alright, so with that in mind, music is going to be another big consideration. Now, I make my own music for my films, but you could reach out to indie musicians. You can reach out to friends, family. You can go ahead and have a completely silent film, but I would say don't do that. You do not want a completely silent film, unless you do. But even the silent films of the silent film era had music to accompany them. Yes, it was usually played live in the theater, but that's not the point. The point is it's very hard to engage an audience if you have absolutely no sound at all. Now, that's not to take away from the concept that there is a large portion of the audience that is only going to want to see your subtitles, because that's all they're not going to hear your movie. And there are a large number of people who can't hear all these sounds, and you have to accommodate for them as well. And we'll get into that later on, because it's still worth consideration, and it's still something that you have to keep in mind. You can do a film with no dialogue and only music. Or you can do a film with almost no music, very little dialogue, and a lot of sound effects. Or you can do a film that's all sound effects, but you have to have some sound. You cannot do a completely silent film. Though, I guess that's a concept that might be slightly worth examining on a deeper level now that I'm thinking about it. Regardless, you have a wide array of people that you need to consider with your film. So music is one of those things. And whether the music appears only as subtitles or whether the music is something that your viewer can hear, that's almost regardless. You still need to choose music. So I would encourage you to either A, learn how to make music, B, if you already know how to make music, learn how to record music. C, if you already know how to do A and B, record some music. Just write something. Go ahead, stick it in. Make the tone of your film that way. Alright, now, you can also reach out to indie musicians. You can look at royalty-free music that is allowed to be included in productions, because that's out there online. Look into those resources. If you have some amount of money, you can go ahead and look at actually licensing music. Bear in mind, though, that's going to increase your budget. And if you are an indie filmmaker or a low-budget, no-budget creator, you have to take all these things into consideration. Shoot! Alright, so we've gotten here. Goodness gracious, I'm just so happy. I'm happy. Alright, so we've gotten to this point in time. And if you're watching, please do stick with me, because I have something at the end, which we're going to, enjoy together. But here we've gotten to a certain point in time, alright? And then once you approach music, or sound effects, or voice, and we're going to put all those things together. Now, I'm going to gloss over a lot of the stuff. But if you can figure out how to record sound, you can figure out how to record sound effects. If you can figure out how to record sound effects, you can put them in the audio track of your movie. This gets more difficult if you're just using a phone, but if you're using a lot of the free software that's out there, it's entirely doable. Alright? And on that note, you can go ahead and you can download something like DaVinci Resolve, which is completely free. You can buy an upgraded version for better editing. DaVinci is actually used, DaVinci and Blackmagic are actually used for things like TV series and movies, but they also have a free version that tons of YouTube creators, tons of small movie creators use to edit their movies if you're using a desktop or a laptop. So look into DaVinci Resolve. There's also Filmora. So Filmora is another program. You can get that. In 2009, I actually used the Windows Video Editor, which no longer really is an option. Now I use DaVinci Resolve and all the software that goes along with DaVinci. I highly recommend you do. Filmora is a good option. A lot of YouTube creators use Filmora. A lot of various video producers. So those are kind of the ones I'm going to direct you to. DaVinci, you can get that completely free. Filmora, I think there's a cost on that, and I'm not sure off the top of my head, but both of these are an option. Both are really high grade. DaVinci is used, actually it was used for some of the Disney Plus and Marvel movies to give you a concept of DaVinci was actually used for Disney products. That's the kind of power in the program. It's actually used on products that professional. Filmora, I don't know nearly as much about, but I do know that a lot of YouTube creators do actually use Filmora. So those are two programs you can look at if you have a desktop or whatnot. Now, if you are going off your phone, I would suggest you go in there and you look for things like there's Adobe After Effects. You're going to have to pay for that. Or you can look for, there's a Studio Director app that I forget the name of right now, but you can put a bunch of film footage together in that, and you can actually go ahead. Okay, so Filmora does have a cost, okay. But there's a bunch of apps, so go into your Google Play Store or your, the iOS store, and look around for video editing software. You're probably going to pay money for them. Anything that you're not going to pay money for is probably going to have a watermark on it, but it's an option. But we want to try to keep our film budget as low as possible because we are indie creators. We are not big budget creators. Okay. So now that you have all that, we're going to do our filming. And filming is a multi-stage process. Okay? So we've considered, and I kind of crushed them into one, and I apologize, but we've considered music and we've considered film editing. And I'm just going to say right now that you can use things, and there are options. You can actually get FL Studio, Fruity Loop Studio, or you can get Personas. You might spend money on these things, okay? I'm just going to put that out there. You might spend money on these things to use them, but you can use Personas or FL Studio to do an audio mix. I use FL Studio to do my music. So, and then there's Personas. Personas you're going to pay for. FL Studio has a free version, but they also have several different paid versions. So there's that. So I'm using primarily DaVinci Resolve and Fruity Loops Studio for my editing and my sound, my music. Again, take time to learn these things. Whatever program, if you get Filmora, take time to learn Filmora. If you get Personas, take time to learn Personas. If you get FL Studio, take time to learn FL Studio. If you get DaVinci, take time to learn DaVinci. If you get an app on your phone, take time to learn those things. Make sure you know them. All right, now after all of that, we can finally go ahead. Yes. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for everything. Now, after all of that, we can go ahead, we can do our filming, because we've already covered all of the fundamentals beforehand. Okay, so now we do our filming for our pastel mechanical romance. Our imaginary film for this project that we're doing together is a kind of class, a lesson. I guess it's kind of a lesson, kind of a class, but it's a discussion about these things that we go through. Master your software. 100% master your software. Actually, I'll backpedal that slightly. Don't worry about mastering your software at first. Just worry about being competent enough to use your software. You will become a master after using it enough. Don't worry about mastering your software. Only worry about becoming competent enough to use it to create the project you want. And if there's things that you can't do, Google, YouTube, use them. And then find all of those things. I would say, in best case scenario, master your software. If that's not an option, that's fine. Okay. Filming phase. You're going to need to consider a bunch of things, which you've already been practicing with everything else, which is lighting, angles, shots, but you've already done a couple of filming practices. You have your screenplay, you have your crew, you figured out all of this, and now the hard work begins, which is filming and acting and doing it. And do not be afraid to refilm the same thing a dozen times. It's fine. It's okay. If you don't get the shot you want, you don't get the take you want, someone doesn't say a line right, you don't position something right, the lighting's wrong, do it again. Film is actually really forgiving in this. It doesn't matter if you're using actual film or you're using digital film, a digital video. Film is really forgiving. You can go ahead and you can say, I didn't do that right. It's not like this live stream where I have right now to get this right with you. And if I get something wrong, it's fine. It's okay. I'm going to move along. But with film, you can go ahead and you can actually re-record the same scene, you know, for the next 3 days, if you have to. You can record it again 6 months later if it just doesn't look right. But understand that film takes time. And I'm going to go back and I'm just going to say, alright, such a positive attitude. Do you help people make films? I have currently not helped anyone make films. I've made a lot myself, but I would be more than willing to go ahead and help others make films. To go through this, to use software, to try to do editing and lighting correction for people. This is something that I would do, and if you want to contact me about that, please feel free, and we can discuss some sort of consultation. So that is an option if you are interested in doing that. But, you know, this goes back to the fact that I am an indie creator, so understand, if I'm going to help you make a film, I'm part of crew, so if you need me to consult or help you make a film, I might just be like, I'm going to have to discuss some payment. And I'm also going to be understanding because I am a low-budget, no-budget filmmaker. So a few $1,000s is the budget of one of my films, which means I'm not going to go ahead and be like, well, it's going to be a few $1,000s to have me consult and help with your film. Because that is ethically, morally, and completely wrong. And above all else, I believe in the integrity of my work and what I do. So therefore, I will always act within integrity. And yes, if someone needs help, I will happily help you in all sorts of ways. Reach out. Well, yes, I am going to charge. You should charge. Your time and work is worth it. And I agree. I am going to charge. I'm just not going to, you know, charge up the wazoo. No, I'm part of your crew. If you need help, please contact me. We can discuss things, and if I have time to help you with your project, I will definitely try to help in any way I can. But it will be a discussion, it will be a conversation, and I will charge you. I'm just not going to be unethical about it or go against my own moral integrity. Is there a family discount? Yeah, there's a family discount. You pay more. No, I'm kidding. I'm entirely kidding. Okay. All right. Ugh. All right. And I'm just going to go back to that film is very forgiving. Fun fact: if you've seen the movie Apocalypse Now took 68 weeks to film. It also took 3 years to edit and become a completed movie. So, if you haven't seen the movie Apocalypse Now, that's fine. It's a Francis Ford Coppola movie. It had Marlon Brando. It had Dennis Hopper. Very, very great movie if you haven't seen it. It's about the Vietnam War. So yeah, it took 68 weeks to film that. They did it all in the Philippines, I believe. Was it the Vietnam War? Now I'm second guessing that. Regardless, they filmed that all in location, on location in the Philippines. It took 68 weeks. It took over a year to film that movie. And then it took 3 years to edit it and create the final movie, Apocalypse Now, that we know now. So just understand that. So like Martin Sheen, Dennis Hopper, Marlon Brando, those are some of the big name stars in that movie. Marlon Brando only came in, I think, for the last 12 weeks. I might be wrong about that. But regardless, think about Martin Sheen and Dennis Hopper working for over a year in the Philippines continuously on a single movie, and then they had to wait 3 years to be edited, completed, and released. So that's kind of what I mean on film is forgiving. So I might be wrong on this, but I think there's about 300 hours of recorded footage that was used to create this 3-hour-long movie. And I know 300 hours doesn't sound long, but consider all the things that go into making a movie. That's a lot. So it takes me, personally, working by myself, doing everything, about 18 to 20 hours to make somewhere around 5 minutes of film. Why is this important? Well, if you want to make a movie, I want you to walk into it understanding what that actually means. It is a commitment, and I also encourage you to really consider it if it is something you want to do. Just understand it takes time. So that's the kind of thing. So we're going to get on to the final portion of this. So you've done all of your filming, you've done all of that, you've done reshoots and reshoots, you have your music, you have your tone, you have your concepts. Now comes post-production. In post-production, what we are going to do is we're going to edit, we're going to add our music, and we're going to make our posters and our graphics, create our titles and our credits. And I know that's really condensed, but it's been an hour and 12 minutes since this started, and this has just been a quick little go-through of what making a film is like. Wow. Hour and 12 minutes. Woo! At least that's what that says. Alright. So once again, if you're just coming and you're just joining us, please subscribe to my film's YouTube. I have 4 short films up there currently. And now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to break away from the educational portion of this, and I'm going to talk about some great things. Because I know you want to hear about great things. Woo! All right. And what do we do right after we finish our wine? We fill our horn with beer. Why? Well, why not? Alright, so now we're going to get on to the thing that I would like to just say I'm really proud of. Thank you, by the way, if you're still here. Thank you, by the way, for coming today. So my short experimental film, Catalyst, has already won Best Short Film for the Global Film Festival, which I don't have that one. Actually, no. Well, it's down on my poster. Down on my poster. Down in that corner. So, it won Best Short Film for the Global Film Festival. It won Best Short Film for the Medusa Film Festival. It got selected, let's see if I can show you where that is on this background, for the Cult Film Festival. I was selected. But I also just won Best Micro Short for the Austin International Art Festival. Which means this one film, and it's entered into a bunch of other film contests and festivals, which I haven't heard from yet. This one film that I have made, and I've been working now since 2009. I made Catalyst in 2020. This one film that I have made in all that time has now won 3 film awards for best in its category. It's been selected by an additional festival, and then it's entered into a bunch more that I have yet to hear about. I'm floating as a filmmaker, as a creator, as a person, as an individual. I'm floating. How can I not be proud of all the work I've done, and at the same time humbled, because I've been putting so many years of work in, and then I get this response for one of my films, as after all this hard work and all this time and all this effort, I make a piece, and not one festival, but 3 have not just selected it, but have awarded it best in its category. And it thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for all your compliments, all your emotes. Thank you for being here. Every award that I've gotten is just another reminder that all this hard work pays off. Some filmmakers can go their entire careers without ever getting any of this. And some artists never complete the works they want. But I feel honored, proud, humble, and taken aback by the response to what is arguably one of the most emotional pieces I have done. I'd be more than willing to discuss the film, but if you've stayed this long, I'm going to tell you now, we're going to watch it together. Here, on the stream. So I'll give it a couple minutes. Just going to finish the scoring first. And we're going to watch Catalyst together. And if I run long, I run long, but I'm more than open to chatting more afterwards and hearing anything that you might have to say. Thank you so much. So, in celebration of everything that I have achieved, and everything that you have all helped me achieve, and everything that these festivals have seen in me, and all these years. Salute. Prost. I know other ways to say cheers, but combat. I know so many ways to say cheers, and they all escape me right now. This drink is for all of you who continue to support me. For all of the awards, and for all of joy. This is raw. That's that horn. So, getting these on. And I'm turning that off. Because I want to be able to hear Catalyst with you. So if you are still here, thank you so much for being here. At the end of the stream, I'm going to drop a link to my Patreon if you'd like to support the continuation of my films. Actually, give me just one moment. My fine friends. Actually, there you go. If you would like to help support the continuation of these films, my art, my books, my photography, the streams, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon. They have exclusive content there, pictures, videos. I have an exclusive story or short story series, which is only being released there. So for $1 a month, you can be a patron on Patreon and get access to all of that stuff. And then for higher tiers, you can get access to exclusive art prints and merch and shirts. So please consider supporting me on Patreon. However, we are going to watch Catalyst together. So if you're still here, say a hello, say a howdy. I think all my sound is working, so hopefully that all works properly once we get this started. Let me just do one thing really quick. Alright. We're in premiere mode now. Yes. Alright, so here we are in premiere mode. I'm going to get right out of your visual space here once this starts. Hi there. We're about to do a Twitch premiere for my film Catalyst. Filmed, edited, starring, written by, music by, posters by, art by, and all that stuff by me. Oh, you can hear it. Okay, well, don't worry. We're about to start it all over again. We are in premiere time. So, I'm going to get right out of your sight. And we are going to go ahead and watch Catalyst together. So, here we go, everyone. I hope you're watching. Woo! Lost my headphones for a minute there. Thank you so much for being here for that. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to change this back right there. Thank you very much, Silver Fox. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for being here. Now, as we've come to the end of our stream for the evening, if you have any thoughts, questions, anything you'd like to throw out, please do. I'm going to be uploading this video in the next day or so on my film's YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it there, along with another wonderful shoot. Thank you so very much. Thank you. So yes, we're gonna go ahead. I've been standing up this whole time. Let's get comfortable. Oh, that's an awful view. That one's better. So, please feel free to ask any questions. If you'd like to support the creation of additional films, like Catalyst, if you'd like to support my writing, my live streaming, my art, please consider joining my Patreon. Thank you so much for all the emotes and all the support, Silver Fox. Thank you so much for everyone who's been here. I had a lot of fun tonight, and I hope that you all had a lot of fun too, and I hope that there was a lot that was educational that you could take away. And most certainly, yes, you can go ahead and, if you want to contact me about making films in any aspect, please feel free to contact me here on Twitch, or you can go ahead and contact me via my YouTube, which I'm sharing once more in the chat. You can contact me through my YouTube. You can contact me through Twitch. You can also find me on LinkedIn. And if you'd like to discuss film projects, feel free to reach out to me. And if you have any questions, deeper questions about the topics that were covered today, please feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to discuss any of them. It's now after 7. Yes, 3 times award winning, which is a reminder that we kick a butt. Kick it hard. Real hard. I'm hot. I've had a great time. I hope you enjoyed the film. I hope to see you all here again. Thank you so much, Silver Fox. Thank you so much, Jill. Thank you so much. KDJ was here earlier. Thank you all for being here. And if you'd like to see more conversations like this, please let me know. Please follow me here. Please subscribe to my YouTube. please consider supporting me on Patreon. I am never going to give up. Thank you for reminding me, Silver Fox. But I have been your Saturday Night. This video is going to be uploaded to my film's YouTube, which I have linked in the chat. And when it goes up there, I will link properly also from my YouTube channel, so you can find your way around. But if nobody has any questions, I guess I can say good evening to you all. And then I can solve that issue of dinner and dessert that was brought up by KDJ and Silver Fox and Jill Shanty earlier in the stream. I'm going to have to solve that riddle. Dinner and dessert. But, again, thank you for being here. I think I might order in tonight. What? Noodles? Now listen, if you're going to get me some noodles, everything in this world is going to be great. Everything. Everything. Because noodles, that is some gold. Alright. Well, thank you everyone for being with me. I'm going to get going. Whoever is still here, thank you for being here. Nom nom nom. Whoever is not here, thank you for having been here. Whoever is watching on the replay, thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get together again tomorrow night here on Twitch. Time potentially around 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That might be adjusted depending. So keep an eye out for tomorrow's stream. We're going to have a lot of fun. And if anyone would like to go ahead and get me 20 extra subscribers before tomorrow morning, you know, if any of you would like to do that, I'll do like some sort of extra long stream. But if we can get 20 extra subscribers by next weekend, I will do an extra long stream. Like, I'll do painting, I'll do video games, we'll talk. Maybe I'll get some yoga out. In fact, I'm gonna make a deal with everyone right now that if we can get 5 more followers by next weekend, I will do more of the yoga, which I haven't done in so long. So just throwing that out there. 5 more followers, we're going to have another yoga night. And yes, I will wear the armor. And yes, I will sweat. And yes, it will be fun. However, since we have no questions from the audience, since we have had a most marvelous of streams, since everything has been delightful, and since you have all come to enjoy a whole lot of fun, all I'm going to say is Thank you, Silver Fox. Thank you, Jill Shanty. Thank you, Katie J, for being here. Thank you for being here for film night. An incredibly good friend convinced me to do this tonight. I'll leave that at that. So thank you to you. But I will be signing off. I will see you all again tomorrow. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this wonderful evening. Take care. Good evening. Good day. Good night. Good Saturday. From your Saturday night. Be excellent, my friends. I'm out of here. Seriously, I'm out of here.